how she's doing and she'd lie and say I'm fine. Ask her how she's doing and she'd lie. Ask her how she's doing. Ask me how I'm doing.
All the other kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, I'll run my gun.
In this video, we'll be taking a look at some recent theories and shady moments regarding Amberlynn Reid, so get your bibs and your baby wipes ready. It's a mess. A lot of people have begun speculating that the reason for Amberlynn's sudden quitting of her weight loss challenge and binging/break from filming was due to the fact that she and Wipey broke up. This Redditor alludes to the fact that Wipey wasn't heard or mentioned in her recent vlog and that Amberlynn appeared rough as if she had gone through a breakup. I honestly don't believe they broke up, but I do believe that Wipey might have gone on an extended trip, possibly to visit family or for legal or court reasons, and Amberlynn binged as a way of saying, look what happens when you leave me by myself. I ruined my progress and binged to keep her from going places without her in the future. Considering Amberlynn seems to take pride in the fact that they go everywhere together, it wouldn't be a surprise if that's what happened. The next theory states, I found this other subreddit about people faking disorders. And while I was reading through some of the posts and comments, it kind of made me think, is Amber doing all of this on purpose? I mean, I know she loves attention and whatnot, but do you think she likes the idea of being sick and is purposefully making herself sick and not getting help for it? Like, think about it, she was constantly going to the doctors, she never actually gets help, she just makes herself more and more sick, like with the whole cellulitis/lymphoma stuff. She never seems to get help for it or ever helps herself with it. She seems to just make it worse. Do you think she might have Munchausen syndrome? I want to start by saying I do not think Amberlynn has Munchausen syndrome. However, I do think her desperate need to be quirky and her compulsive need to excuse her behaviors instead of changing them lead her to use various illnesses she's never been diagnosed with as scapegoats. Her recent ADHD self-diagnosis is a very clear example of this. She constantly tells her subscribers not to diagnose her because they aren't her psychologist, but it seems like she peruses WebMD, types in her symptoms, skips over anything remotely related to or caused by obesity, and settles on a well-known mental illness so she can use the excuse, you're invalidating my mental health. Mental illnesses are different for everyone, if subscribers call her out for self-diagnosing. Amberlynn does not have ADHD and has never been formally diagnosed, yet continuously blames certain problems and behaviors she has on her ADHD. It's not only harmful to those that actually suffer from ADHD, but it stops her from finding the actual cause of her issues because she goes shopping for new illnesses and then shows them off to her audience like her awful torrid hauls instead of being formally diagnosed by a specialist and getting treated accordingly. This screenshot was taken from one of Amberlynn's Q&As, where someone said, stop trying to be a caricature of someone with ADHD. It's hurtful to those of us who struggle with it. Which is absolutely reasonable and valid, unlike Amberlynn's response, which read, wow. As someone who is struggling with it, you just hurt me. Hypocrite much? Your logic is flawless. This screenshot honestly speaks for itself. Amberlynn has never been formally diagnosed with ADHD and is now just claiming to have it because she has a few symptoms that are similar to those of ADHD. She is literally dismissing the fact that her self-diagnosing, based off of what she thinks individuals with ADHD struggle with, is not only stereotyping an entire group of people, but spreading the harmful belief that it is okay to diagnose yourself with whatever you think you may have and then insert yourself into that community of people. This post is disgusting and reeks of gaslighting and manipulation. Another screenshot from Amberlynn's Instagram reads, did you ever at one point think you'd seriously hit 600 pounds? To which Amber replied, yes. It was scary. But thankfully it didn't happen. Now, some of you may believe Amberlynn when she says her highest weight was 572.4, but I absolutely do not. During the period of time where she claimed to be at her heaviest, she was bedbound, taking baths using a bucket and a washcloth, and Becky was wiping her because she physically could not reach. Somehow, I doubt she continued to weigh herself as she ate constantly and gained weight throughout her bedbound era. So, 572.4 may be her highest known weight because she simply stopped weighing in, but I think by all means she reached at least the low 600s. This one says, with some light paraphrasing, in Amber's recent video she said a weight loss doctor told her to add a vegetable to every meal. She scoffed like it was the stupidest advice she has ever heard. She tries to change everything in her life all at once and always fails. Adding to your already established diet is easier than removing. I think this is a really good point. In my opinion, Amberlynn purposely misunderstood what the weight loss doctor was saying. She insinuated the doctor was telling her to continue to binge on thousands of calories and add on heaps of vegetables on top of that, but that's not what I think they were saying. I believe the doctor means replacing certain binge foods with vegetables during her meals, meaning swapping junk snacks like cup ramen for a veggie tray, or swapping the heaps of white rice for broccoli. Even replacing her high-calorie Starbucks drinks with vegetable smoothies could help. And considering she has consistently claimed to love vegetables on her channel, I'm not sure why she was so quick to dismiss this really helpful advice.
So we were going back and forth, and he was telling me what to eat, and he was telling me what kinds of foods I like, because he didn't want me to eat things I didn't like, obviously. So he didn't mention anything of fruits and vegetables. Good nutritional diet is to have fruits and vegetables. But he wasn't mentioning like fruits and vegetables, and for some reason that just like surprised me for some reason.
Have you been able to chat to Chantal in private and sort out your issues? Nope. I still watch her live streams and hear some of the shade she throws at me. I don't understand why she has forgiven literally everyone in her life, community, etc. repeatedly, but she won't forgive me. I've always been super supportive of her, kind, and willing to stand up for her. It seems like it's almost easier for her to be on the wrong side since so many people already dislike me. This is honestly the weirdest, most victim-blaming, self-righteous thing I've ever seen. She admits to still watching Chantal's live streams and listening to her throw shade, which is a weird way to describe Chantal expressing that Amberlynn publicly apologizing to someone Chantal was a victim of and claiming to find him and the woman that sits at his table with him while he smokes his cancer sticks and gaslights Chantal and their entire YouTube audience entertaining, made her extremely upset and was completely unnecessary. Amberlynn saying she's always been super supportive and willing to stand up for her is her trying to paint herself as an amazing friend that is somehow the victim in a drama she created. But of course, none of this was Amberlynn's fault. She was just listening to her therapist's oddly specific advice to publicly apologize to some random chain-smoking narcissist on YouTube despite all of the pain he caused her alleged best friend Chantal, to whom she has just been the kindest, most supportive friend ever. Her saying Chantal was on the wrong side for being mad at her once again makes this whole situation an apology about Amberlynn and minimizes the fact that Chantal literally has every reason to be mad at her. This is more than just YouTube haters. She actually hurt Chantal and refuses to own up to it, instead choosing to continue gaslighting Chantal and her audience. Have you accepted that you're not truly willing to put in the effort to lose weight? I'm down 90+ pounds in a year, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. Does anyone remember early on in the Amberverse when Amberlynn was binging on 3 huge slices of pepperoni pizza after taking an appetite suppressant and forcing herself to eat, and between ogre-sized bites of food she had the unmitigated nerve to say, "I'm the queen of moderation, I lost 89 pounds.
I do want you guys to know that I'm the queen of like moderation. I lost 89 pounds before.
That's the exact vibe this is giving. It's very ironic that this is the second time she's clinging to the same 89 pounds weight loss and ignoring the fact that she's still 200 pounds heavier than what she was when she first started YouTube, despite losing 89 pounds again. Also, she's claiming to be down 89 pounds in a year, but as this Redditor points out, last year on August 1st she weighed in at 532.4 and this year as of July 28th she weighed in at 486.2. That's literally half of what she's claiming to have lost, so do with that information what you please. Wounds not healing is textbook diabetic. Please stop the gaslighting. You're gaslighting me by ignoring the fact that I have excoriation issues and my blood results always come back as a non-diabetic person with a normal A1C. Literally just stay mad, LMAO. This is a lie of Amber's that I contemplated not even entertaining because it's so weird and ridiculous. Amberlynn Reid does not have excoriation issues. We literally have not heard one thing about this until the wipey era when people started linking her slow-healing wounds to possible diabetes or insulin resistance. She claims to have had awful issues with picking her skin for as long as she can remember, however is never seen doing it in any of the early Amberverse unedited content, nor in the many 60+ minute live streams she's done over the course of her channel. She's never mentioned this issue on her channel before recent videos, not even in her struggles being me videos, or her many rants about her anxiety and mental health, but now that she's diagnosed herself with an excoriation disorder she brings it up every chance she gets in her vlogs and on her Instagram. Also, it's hard to believe she has a lifelong disorder she can't even pronounce correctly, LMAO. It's like she googled what disorder can cause scabbing on skin and ran with the first one that popped up. Are you still reading the F It Diet book? No, I'm not, because I disagree with it. That book is so against losing weight. It's very health at every size, and I just don't agree with that. This is gonna be a quick one. Amberlynn pretending to be anti-health at every size is laughable, considering she constantly stresses to her audience that she's obese, but perfectly healthy despite her obvious array of health issues, ranging from chronic UTIs, to gallstones, to becoming out of breath from doing mundane tasks. Also, what perfectly healthy person needs high blood pressure medication, LMAO? She constantly tells her audience that just because she's obese, it doesn't mean she's unhealthy, and calls anyone who suggests her health issues may have something to do with her massive weight gain a hater. The last thing I want to address is Amberlynn's health update in one of her recent post-rebrand vlogs. This one has a lot to unpack, so we'll break it down, starting with the emergency tooth removal. Apparently, Amberlynn has been having an intense need to brush her teeth anywhere from 7 to 10 times recently following her hysterectomy, and somehow our gorl was brushing so much she managed to crack exactly one of her teeth, but didn't affect any of the other teeth she was also brushing 7 to 10 times a day. Following this cracked tooth, the tooth next to it developed a very painful abscess, to which dentist Lynn decided instead of using her tons of money to go see an actual professional, she'd just take ibuprofen twice a day and try to ignore the pain for a month while continuing to binge and eat all kinds of junk food, takeout, and diet sodas. She then had the tooth removed and now has TMJ and is in extreme pain from ibuprofen-induced headaches. In my opinion, her saying that her tooth problems have been caused by brushing her teeth too much is the emotional equivalent of her saying she wasn't losing weight during her 500 pounds gorl series because she might have been eating too little. She absolutely refuses to admit that she might not have been taking care of her teeth the way she should have, and it caused some of her teeth to crack and rot, and her ignoring it turned it into a painful emergency situation. Next, Amberlynn has discussed no longer taking her post-hysterectomy estrogen that she's been prescribed for 2 years, because she believes it may put her at risk for other types of cancer. She got this idea because, according to Amberlynn, she called to schedule a refill of her estrogen and a new guy answered the phone and told her that from his expertise she should not be taking estradiol. Now I don't know how your pharmacies work, but typically the person you schedule your refill with is just the pharmacy attendant or the person that fills the medicine bottles. Not an actual doctor. And even if this mystery man was a doctor, he has no idea what Amberlynn's medical background is to even make a claim as far as what she should or should not be taking. But of course Amberlynn loves to take unsolicited advice from random people over the instructions of literal medical professionals, so she took this random man's advice and ran with it. It's giving very much FBI Frank vibes. Moving right along, strap in, this one is a doozy. So, Amberlynn posted to her Instagram that she had gotten her labs done and was scheduled for a doctor's appointment the next day to find out her results. Now even throughout my pregnancies, I've gotten blood work done multiple times and they usually just say we'll alert you if we find anything abnormal, and other than that to just assume everything is normal. I've never had to come back the next day just for them to tell me everything looks perfectly healthy. This seems to be true for a lot of people. Amberlynn continues to insist that her blood work has never been abnormal. However, unlike the dozens of times her doctors have praised her miraculous healthy blood work results, this time Amberlynn was prescribed Ozempic, a known diabetes medication. Amberlynn claims this drug was purely prescribed for weight loss purposes. However, the literal Ozempic website says the drug is not intended for weight loss. And while other sources say it's being tested as a once-a-week shot for weight loss in individuals without diabetes, it just doesn't make sense to me that they'd give her such an expensive diabetes drug. She claims it's about $1,000 a month, instead of an appetite suppressant or something similar. Also, if Amberlynn was so healthy, why would her doctor go out of their way to prescribe her expensive medication to help her lose weight, directly after taking her miraculously healthy blood work? I think Amberlynn is absolutely pre-diabetic at least, and the Ozempic is a last-ditch effort to help her lose weight, and if all else fails it'll get her used to giving herself shots often for when she needs to take insulin for the rest of her life. Share your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear any new theories that I can elaborate on in a future video. I'm honestly burned out from tracking Amberlynn's food intake, but I find these kinds of videos a lot more interesting. Let me know if you do as well. Thanks for watching.